Mike, I appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir.
I've been trying to get a hold of somebody involved at that day on 9/11, and I got a hold of you somehow.
Oh, you got a hold of my brother.
Got a hold of your brother who was able to connect me with you. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you doing this because
It's an honor, and I appreciate you looking to do something like this.
Yeah,
it
man.
means a lot to not only me. I'm a nobody at the end of the day of all this, but a lot of people gave it all that day, and a lot of people are recognized for it. And not that anybody did it for the recognition of it, but it's just nice to know that people do appreciate and recognize what went on that day behind the scenes, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
That's the proper wording.
It's just bringing back the story and making sure, like, we talk about it all the time, make sure nobody ever forgets that day.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But before we get rolling, just tell us a little about yourself and your background on the water and how you got into the industry and all that stuff.
Well, I got into the industry. It's been in my family since, I want to say, the 1930s. They've been in the fishing industry. My family's had boats down in Sheepshead Bay here since the 30s. Started with my great-grandfather, my grandfather, my father, and my uncle. In 1989, my family's boat became a dinner boat, got away from the fishing industry, and then I kind of went with my godfather on his fishing boat, the Brooklyn 6 in Sheepshead Bay here, and that's where, it was always in my blood, but I learned everything I learned on that boat from my cousin, taught me everything, and a couple of the other captains that watched me grow up. And over the years from when I was a little kid, I've been on a boat since I was 6.
Okay.
But they taught me everything there in the fishing end on my godfather's boat, and that's how it really went. And so it's just been in my blood. It's just something I always loved to do. And
so you're bouncing back between commercial fishing and it sounds like, tour boats and
mostly just party boat fishing.
Boats.
I did a little commercial fishing the last few years on a smaller boat, not so much like dragging or anything like that, just rod and reel commercial fishing. But I've basically been on a party boat, fishing boats my entire life.
So you've been on the water a long time,
my whole life. My whole life.
What license do you carry?
Right now I carry 100-ton.
Okay.
I'm working on some upgrades and stuff to move up now. I wish I would have did it when I was younger when my brain was fresher, but better late than never.
No, yeah. So you're still loving it though?
Oh yeah. I couldn't sit in an office. No way. I couldn't sit in an office.
Your schedule seems pretty good. Sounds like you just got back. You were telling me earlier from the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, just on a family vacation for 10 days with the kids and the wife and stuff
man.
like that.
Yeah.
There's my beautiful Bella Potato.
Yeah, shout out to her.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Clemente's Maryland Crab House.
Jimmy over here set us all up for the day. Let us do what we got to do.
This is amazing. And for those watching right now, I'm looking at the Freedom Tower right in front of us right here.
That was always it was before my time as running the boats. I believe I was 17 when this all happened, but talking to like some of the older captains, that was their range for a lot of wrecks and stuff like that. When they were out fishing, they used to range that upper parts of the beach, and also coming in from offshore. Once you've seen the World Trade Centers, you knew you were almost there. You were within like 30 miles, 35 miles of the beach, and you kind of would just head for there, and that would take us right to our inlet, Rockaway Inlet, more or less.
Was pretty new, right?
It was just starting, really. Yeah. It was basic charts, and it wasn't the technology we have. We used to use Lorraine C and stuff like that, so when you're coming in on a night trip or something like that, you'd see the World Trade Centers and just head for it, and you'd get to the inlet.
Yeah, because today, I don't even know if they're teaching people how to properly use and navigate on a chart. I think it's all digital. I could be wrong. But
they still are, because I just went through a course down in Florida for radar endorsement. They still are, but they're slowly getting out of that.
Yeah,
slowly.
They gotta know that.
Yeah.
So, no, that's cool, man. Like I said, I'm sitting here staring right at the I'm still shocked by that. So.
Yeah.
But, so back to that day. How old were you said?
17, I want to say I was.
Okay.
I was working night fishing trips on the boats here in Sheepshead Bay, and I got home probably like 4 or 5 in the morning by the time we were done cleaning up and everything. It might even been later. I went upstairs to go sleep. I was living with my dad here, right here in Garrison Beach. We were living here, and my brother couldn't have been 10 or 11 years old at the time. So I was home sleeping, and my brother actually woke me up that morning. Came upstairs in the room yelling, screaming, wake up, we're being attacked, we're being attacked. I was only sleeping a little bit. Get out of here, we're being attacked. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I rolled back over, and then why is he home from school? And as I went down the stairs in my father's house, my dad was sitting at the table there with my stepmom, and the TV was on, and the second plane was going into the building as I was coming down the steps at that exact time.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That gave everybody chills that day.
Yeah. My dad, actually, he was in that
That's
YouTube video that everybody hopefully has seen at this point, or most people have.
Well, that's that video is something I share every year, and that's what kind of gave me that. I'm trying to find you and somebody like you that's been involved with that day, because it just doesn't get announced enough. What all the mariners here? Now, I mean, you know, is what not just you guys. It was everybody that had a boat that could do it, that could help out some way.
So my dad didn't even want to take me with him.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah.
And we didn't, you know, it was the last minute thing. There was no crew there. It was my dad, myself, and an older gentleman, Teddy, who worked on the boat as well. There was only 3 guys on our boat that day. Oh, for the 3 days. We were up there for 3 days transporting people, supplies.
Jeez.
Down to downtown Manhattan from Brooklyn and the Army Terminal, and taking people to Jersey City, Long Island City, Brooklyn, wherever we had to take them. And the only reason why they actually let us go north of the Verrazano Bridge that day, because all the fishing boats at that point came in from their fishing trips, figuring they could help somehow, and there was a big security zone. They weren't letting any vessels up there. The only reason why they did let us proceed is we actually had firemen and EMTs on the boat.
Okay.
That were just coming down to the waterfront to try to figure out how to get to the city to help.
So you were transporting them
and
back and forth.
They were walking by, and they say, hey, by any chance, are you guys heading up? And we're like, yeah, we are. Come on, jump on.
Yeah.
And when the Coast Guard stopped us at the bridge, we let them know we had emergency personnel on board. And once they let us up there, we were there for 3 days transporting people and supplies. And I mean, I have a bunch of, I remember like it happened yesterday, unfortunately. I wish I could forget it, just for some of the things I seen and heard from the people that we transported. And I got goosebumps just even talking about it. I mean, it's.
So what you guys, your family had 2 boats at the time?
No, at that time, my family, the Ardolino family, had the Amberjack 5.
The Amberjack 5,
And my godfather, which he basically raised me. I lived in his house over the summers because I lived in Queens, so I stayed in his house. They had a fishing boat, the Brooklyn 6.
Okay.
So they were out fishing that day. Totally separate businesses.
Was that the boat you were on that day?
The Amberjack 5.
The Amberjack 5.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that boat, you were showing me pictures of it today.
That's actually it's down in Marco Island right now. It's back to fishing.
Yeah.
It's called the American Patriot. It does long range fishing trips out of Marco Island to like the Dry Tortugas, to Pulley Ridge and stuff like that. The gentleman Ralph who owns it converted the whole boat over. He bought it from my uncle, and I was actually supposed to transport it down there with my brother, and that's why we wanted to transport it too. It was like our last memory of our dad after he passed, and just the timing didn't work out, but I actually worked down there a little bit with Ralph and stuff, but the boat's down there fishing now, and he named it. Part of the reason I was told he named it the American Patriot is because of what it did for 9/11. Yeah.
So back to that morning, though. So you wake up, you get I mean, once that second plane hits, everybody knew, like, shit's going down.
Yeah, right? Shit got real fast.
Yeah. At what point, after the buildings collapsed and all that, I mean, when did you guys realize, I mean, did the Coast Guard reach out to you, say, hey, we need help, or was it?
No. Like I said, my dad was sitting at the table watching it, and exactly like he said in that video, everything my dad spoke in that video, boat lift, is exactly how that day played out.
So you said, I'm getting on this boat.
My dad said he's going down, and I said, I'm coming with you. He says, no, I'm not taking you. For safety reasons, I would like to think that's why my dad didn't want to take me. And I said, Dad, you can't go by yourself.
Yeah.
And that's when he took me. My brother wanted to come again. He was 10 or 11 at the time. No way we're taking him. And we went up there. And like I said, my stepmom didn't want us going either because nobody knew what was really going on at that point. If there was more going to happen, or nobody knew what was really happening. We all assumed what was happening, but nobody had clarification of what was happening.
That's the thing. Yeah. You don't know if there's guns going to be start firing from land. Who knows?
And again, we're right here in Garrison Beach.
So that's what I was going to ask too. Yeah. The boat was here. How long of a run to Manhattan is that?
Okay, so this is Garrison Creek here.
Yeah.
If you just go right outside this bridge, it's about 2 miles into Sheepshead Bay.
Okay.
So up to the Verrazano, I guess with that boat there, it was probably about an hour and a half to the Battery, where the World Trade Center was, Battery Park.
Yep.
There. So it's about an hour and a half ride, hour and 15 minutes. But just back to real quick, I was saying, this is all Garrison Beach here.
Yep.
How far would you say that would be to that Freedom Tower?
It's so hard to judge. I don't know. It looks far. It looks like about 5 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had debris in all of these backyards here from the buildings that day.
Insane.
The wind was out of the northwest that day. It was a crystal clear day, and the northwest wind blows this way. And I mean, we had debris in our house in Garrison Beach, which is right here. So we're every bit of 5 miles as the crow flies.
For like a day or 2 days, right?
Oh, for multiple days.
Yeah.
But even that day, we started getting debris in the backyard. Even up there on the boat that day, there was still so much debris flying in the air after the buildings had collapsed already. That we had stuff falling on the boat and stuff like
That's
that.
crazy to think from 5 miles from here that it's
Yeah.
still going all the way
Yeah,
over
there was
here.
all kinds of papers from the offices.
Yeah, what
and
else did
stuff
you
like.
see? Just
I didn't see my stepmom because,
Yeah.
like I said, I was up there, but she had there was all kinds of papers and stuff like that
That's
from the
nuts.
offices and stuff like that. Yeah,
gives you freaking chills, man. I mean,
yeah.
so you guys, you're making your way up there. Were you in communication with any friends nearby, like asking, "Hey guys, you know, hey, we need a hand," or other boat owners that were?
They were every boat.
That's-
Like I said, they were out fishing with passengers on the boat. It was a normal day until that happened.
It was a beautiful day.
Yeah,
right?
it was a normal day, business as usual. People going out fishing, and all the boats returned to port to do the same thing that me and my father were doing. They just didn't get cleared to go up there for security reasons.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, it just makes you think, like, if we didn't have the security personnel on there, not security, excuse me, the emergency personnel, first responders, I wouldn't be here talking to you right now because you wouldn't have known my name. I wouldn't have known your name through 9/11 or nothing like that. My dad wouldn't have been on that video. And that it was almost like, and that was like one of the last memories I had with my dad.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't have the greatest relationship, I guess you could say, growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that.
Gotcha.
But, you know, if that had to be a last memory, I'm glad it was that we hopefully
you guys did
made a difference and helped people.
Mm-hmm.
And I can accept that might have been one of our only good last memories that we had, if that makes sense. It's a little hard for me to talk about.
No, 100%. I totally get it. Man, you guys, it's incredible what you, and not just you, I mean, your father and everybody that day did. A lot of people don't know that was the biggest evacuation in history by boat.
Yes.
Dunkirk's right behind it. But that day, it was over 500,000 people. This is what I read.
I wouldn't even bank on that number. I wouldn't be surprised it was more. I don't even remember. I'd be lying to you to even say a number of how many trips we did from the Battery to different places.
Yeah.
But I know at one specific time, my dad asked the Coast Guard. The boat was licensed for 149 passengers, Coast Guard regulations. And my dad actually asked the Coast Guard on VHF, what are we doing with this today? And the Coast Guard told my dad, put them on till you feel comfortable, Cap. Those were the exact words. I had 512 people on that boat one trip.
Holy shit.
Because I did have a clicker. Because my dad wanted to know how many people on the boat. Still for safety. You still have to be safe.
Yeah.
Even though it was an emergency evacuation, you still had to keep safety in your mind.
You don't want to dig another situation.
Right, exactly. So 512 people we had on that boat. And we weren't the only boat there doing it. There was at any given time just pulling onto the bulkhead 15, 20 boats. And you didn't put a dent in the people that were sitting there waiting to go. It's like you couldn't move them fast enough.
And it had to have been so tough seeing like I mean, from some of the videos I've watched and seeing, everybody wants to get off there as fast. And it's like, oh, who do you choose? I mean, come on. It's just like,
we did have some.
Not saying that you choose, but you get what I'm saying. Like,
we thank God we did have, like, I guess it was the police. Some of this is a little foggy. I wasn't paying attention to the finer details that day, I guess.
Yeah.
But there was like some kind of organized chaos, I guess you could say it was, where you didn't have people just jumping on the boat. They did go through the gate, and it wasn't like a madhouse. I mean, maybe at first it was when it first initially started the evacuation. We weren't there for the initial start of it. We came afterwards, obviously, because we had to do the traveling. But people just getting on the boat, though, looked like they went 10 rounds in a UFC fight. Fucking busted up, bloody. Looked like they rolled around in the dirt, hugging me, getting on the boat, thanking me.
Yeah.
And I just, people want to give me money. Just thanking me. I mean, I just didn't even have words for them. Like, I went upstairs to my dad. I was like, Dad, they want drinks, like alcoholic drinks. Like, because we had a bar. It was a dinner boat.
Yeah.
I was like, what do I do? Like, I don't want to start a trend or a problem now. You give them whatever they want, my father told me. He said, you give them whatever they want. And I don't know how I'd react today, being even older now. Maybe it helped me that I was younger at the time and a little maybe more naive to the value of a life.
You're 17.
I guess.
You're young.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to sound like I was a punk kid or nothing like that, even though I probably was. But now I'm 41. I have my own kids now, a wife. And not that I didn't value the purpose of a life then, but I don't know how I would have reacted to seeing some of these people the shape they were in now as I did then. Like, I don't know if maybe I was just numb that day to everything that was going on too, which could have very well been. I don't know if I would have kept composure today.
I think,
I don't know. I
mean,
don't know.
I can't even imagine. You guys did what you. I think there was just a lot of people talk about this all the time. When there's adrenaline like that, some people react and just do what needs to be done quick.
And
some people
that's
lock
what
up,
went
but
on. And,
yeah.
and not only on the Amberjack, from what I seen, and not knowing what I know now, knowledge wise, as far as boat handling and safety and all this, it was like I don't want to say it was like a regular day up there, but there was no accidents on the water that day. There was no incidents that we heard of boats hitting and there was boats, when I tell you, running hooked up. There was no slow bells. There was no going easy because there's guys laying on a bulkhead getting people go past them. So no, you were go, go, go. And
you had
not one incident that I could recall of anything. I don't know.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Think about how many boats.
There was hundreds. There was tugboats, the pilot boats, ferries, fishing boat, anything that floated. Anything that floated.
Coast Guard gave them the okay.
Green light. Exactly how that video was. And I don't mean to keep going back to that video, but that was it.
Yeah.
It was go. Just
go.
All hands.
I saw 5. I mean, the number, who knows what the actual number was, but let's just say it was what they say. 500,000 in 9 hours. It's unheard of.
Okay, so that was in 9 hours. I can believe that number.
Okay.
I thought it was 500,000 overall.
No, because you guys sat there for 3 days. And
we were relieved one time for sure. I remember us being relieved. We made it southbound to the Verrazano Bridge again, and they called us, the Coast Guard. I believe it was the Coast Guard. Again, I wasn't the captain at the time. My dad was. And asked us if we can come back. They needed more support. And at that point, of course, we turned around.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't even a thought. And at that point, for the next day, that was our last day there. We just took supplies from the Brooklyn Army Terminal, which is right across the buttermilk there, which is by Governor's Island. Just taking supplies, water, medical supplies, food for
quickest way to do it.
All the workers that were there trying to find people, and they didn't have anything there.
When did they finally open up the ferry and the bridges and the maybe the subways, or did they even?
No, definitely not. While I was up there, I was still on complete shutdown.
Yeah. See,
and
it's so
not to jump ahead too far. We could get to that if we have time.
Yeah.
The PATH train was obviously destroyed during all this from Jersey to Manhattan.
Yes.
So New York Waterway was contracting, hiring all the boats for ferrying now at this point. So the Brooklyn 6, the boat that I grew up on, my godfather's boat, was involved in that ferrying for 3 years afterwards.
Oh,
also.
wow.
So I worked on there as well, ferrying, but that had nothing to do with the actual 9/11, but just how everything. And I never even really looked at it before till I'm actually talking about it now. It's like, damn, I was there for 9/11, and then I was still there ferrying afterwards. It's just, and then I meet these gentlemen that were reaching out to my dad the same way you were, found me and my brother, and another gentleman with the other video I showed you just came fishing on my boat, seen the last name on the song. All these people that just randomly came back into my life after my father passed, and all for 9/11. It's not for anything else but that.
You just don't want people to forget, man. And also the main reason I talk about this story every year, every 9/11. I always share the fact that the Mariners, the local Mariners in New York, got everybody off of Manhattan that day.
Yeah.
They really did, and it's so unheard of. I mean, I was telling Drew about it. He didn't really know the full details of it, and I brought it up at the wedding I was just at. And that needs to, I don't know. I always want people to realize, hey guys, the captains that day are heroes, and you guys fucking did it, man.
Point in case, you got Manhattan, and then that leads into the Long Island Sound, the waterway there.
Mm-hmm.
There was boats from Huntington, the Captain James Joseph from Huntington, Long Island, came all the way back west into Manhattan that day, and he was still taking people off the island as well. Not necessarily directly from the Battery where everything was happening, but all Manhattan. You could not get off of Manhattan anywhere on Manhattan.
Yeah.
He was taking people. So it's not just the guys from the Battery itself that were here.
Everywhere.
Nobody ever mentions the guys from Long Island too that were part of this. You gotta realize Manhattan is an island from all points.
Yep.
There was boats taking people off of that island. It wasn't just directly in the Battery where the towers were.
The whole strip.
The whole island, there was boats taking people because everything was shut down. There was bridges. My sister walked across the 59th Street Bridge to get home.
She was there that day.
She was in Manhattan working. She cut hair in Manhattan. She had to walk across 59th Street Bridge. And, cell phones were just starting, really.
Yeah.
Kind of, they weren't like a big thing like they are. Everybody had a cell phone. So getting in touch with people wasn't easy, so it was a lot of guessing and are they okay and were they there? And I have a friend that grew up with a girl. She worked in that building. Another guy, he was a captain too. He passed away a few years back. He worked in that building. To the day he passed away, you could just see that dazed look in his face from that day. Like he never recovered from what he experienced that day. I mean, words can't describe what that was. I mean, and I'm not trying to harp on it. It's just like, even for me, if I wasn't there, even though I lived in New York City directly, if I wasn't there doing what I did, I don't know if I would really understand how that really was. I mean, it's a lot different seeing it on TV and seeing it in person.
When I was there, I'm visiting here, and when I was up, me and my girlfriend went to Manhattan, and I went to the memorial. I haven't been there yet, and I had to go see it. And man, did that give me goosebumps. And the whole time I'm there, we were just walking around and we're looking, I'm like, I mean, could you imagine? You can't, first of all, but I was like, in such a tight little area, I mean, where the hell do you go, And you guys, something about captains and watermen in general, no matter whether you always are there for somebody else in the water, where you rather know them or not, right? I mean,
I'm friends with mostly everybody on the water. There's a couple of guys I think are complete assholes.
Well, there's always that.
And they're in the business.
If you follow my page, you know.
Well, and they're in the business. And they're complete assholes. But at the end of the day, the same way they think I'm an asshole, he's not going to leave me out there stuck, damaged.
Oh, no.
Same way I'm not going to leave him. It's an unwritten law of conduct. You just don't do it. And it's people's lives, and I don't care how much you dislike somebody, hate them. You could talk all the shit you want behind their back, and I'll never help them out. You're gonna.
Damn right.
You're gonna. At least I know I'm gonna.
No, I am too, man. I mean, there's so many damn stories out in the water that don't get spoken about, and it's just.
I might not help you if you're over here on the ground on fire. I might step over you.
Yeah.
You're on land, figure it out. But out on the water, it's a small network.
You know this, and probably everybody involved. Nobody's here to brag about it. You just, you just did what you had to do.
No, it's far from any pat on the back or this and that. You just did what you did for you as a human. You did what you did for your people. I mean, somebody's helpless. It's how do you not want to help? Like, I mean, I don't think I really could say I know anybody that would say, oh, I'm not going to help. That's dangerous or something. No, you're not worried about dangerous or this or that. What about the people that are stuck there? They didn't have a choice but to be there.
Yeah.
I'm making a choice to go try and help. And if something happens to me along the way, my father said these exact words, and I'm just actually saying it. And it's a chance I got to take.
Yeah.
It's a chance I got to take. And again, at 17 years old, I didn't know any better. What did I know?
You had a lot of experience in the water.
Yeah, but now 41 years old, I'd be not even thinking about it. Yeah, I got a family and I got kids and this and that, but so do those people. They got kids and family too. And what does it take for somebody to help another person? And that's all that was that day. And I truthfully believe not one person that was part of that rescue that day, I don't think not one person did it because they were looking for a pat on the back or any recognition on them. They did it because it was the right thing to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, if it wasn't for you guys or boats, let's just say there was no boat access for whatever reason, I mean, imagine how many more people probably would have passed. When I see the videos from them getting on the boats, it just looks like dust and maybe hot air just blasting.
We had stuff on the boat the next day, insulation from the building still blowing around, landing on the boat. It was incredible. My father actually passed away from liver cancer from 9/11.
It's sad.
I mean, it's again, you're not thinking of that when you're doing that. You're not going to sit there and now weigh the goods and bads and doing something like this. You got to do what you got to do. I mean, and like I said, the people that were gotten on the boat. I mean, you'd swear they were rolling around in a mud pit somewhere. Some of them.
I read it.
Bleeding, clothes destroyed. I mean, it would really just. It gives me the chills just.
And then to think that the firemen are going that way.
Yeah.
And that's fucking bad.
Well, I was saying, I got a couple of friends that are firemen, and you know what? they're running into the fire when everybody's running out.
Yeah.
And it's virtually the same thing happened here. Everybody's looking to run, and we're running into it because we can.
Yeah.
Not that we can because we're heroes and tough guys. We can because we have the equipment to try to make the situation better. That's all that come down to, is we had the means to try to make a bad situation better. That's all that was. It wasn't, again, nobody did it for any recognition of any sort. And I mean, it is nice to hear thank you and this and that, and guys like yourself that honor guys like myself and all the Mariners that day, not just me because you have me sitting here. I know this is for everybody in general. And, again, as a younger kid, I didn't realize it, but
gives me chills, man.
Yeah, no, none of the Mariners were ever really recognized for years. What they did, they did all this. And, again, not that anybody was looking for it, but it's just nice to hear. I mean, I got these 2 awards here.
Yeah, and I definitely wanted to see these before, the end.
Yeah, I mean, these are both from the same company here.
Yeah, do you mind telling everybody a little bit about this?
This flag here was...
Oh, you're good.
Thank you. I need another rum.
I'll hold this up.
All right. Yeah, this was presented to me and my brother. This was flown at the Capitol building on Veterans Day in 2014. And this was presented from S&P Global and Valor. It's a company. They're a 9/11 nonprofit organization. I'm in touch with the one gentleman, Adam, regularly. I actually have his email information here, which we could maybe put out there later.
I would definitely like to share all that information. And
so again, like yourself, he was reaching out trying to find my dad. Not knowing my dad passed, and he came across me and my brother. And he presented this to me and my brother in recognition for my dad. Just about what he did that day, and it's just a simple plaque. It's presented to the captain and crew of the Hunter, which was my boat at the time. He came down to my boat and did this little service with a couple of the guys from the organization. And it's honoring Captain Vincent Ardolino Sr. Excuse me for a second.
Yeah.
Maybe you could just read that for me.
Yeah. Vincent Ardolino Sr., captain of the Amberjack V and maritime operators who saved countless lives during the boat lift operation of September 11, 2001. Never forget. Yeah, man. I
had that on my boat. Well, I had my boat.
Yeah, and you kept this on your boat?
Yeah, I had that hanging in my cabin.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. And me and my brother agreed to, I'm saving this. We're going to give this to my son, my father's grandson. My son was very young when my dad passed. So he knows him, he met him and stuff like that. But this is probably the only thing that I could really give my son to show him, like, this was from Grandpa. This was an award given, for what he did.
At the end of this episode and later on social media and our website, I'll share some of this information for
Absolutely.
you guys.
Like I said, it's they've done so much for the vets of 9/11, and to this day, I invited the one gentleman, Adam, here today to join us. He couldn't make it. He was taking, I believe it was a bunch of students and kids to like the museum, the 9/11 museum today, and it's all nonprofit volunteer stuff.
It's only a couple weeks
and
away.
Even getting back now a little further on the Brooklyn 6, the fishing boat.
Yeah,
we got involved with Wounded Warriors.
Okay.
For years, 4th of July weekend, the Wounded Warriors would come to this area, and they would look to do things for some of the soldiers that were overseas fighting this war from 9/11. And my cousin used to donate the fishing boat every year. And we used to take the veterans with disabled, missing arms, legs. Maybe some of the injuries weren't physical. Some of them were mental, or you just didn't see them. And taking their families out fishing for the day. My uncle, my father's brother, would donate the dinner boat to take them for a cruise around Manhattan for a dinner cruise at night with their families. The people over in Breezy Point would donate their houses to house them for the weekend. We did that for years. The first year we did it, me and one of the older captains, Andrew, we ran the boat that day, and a gentleman came upstairs. It was him and his wife. His wife didn't make it, unfortunately, and they had their daughter. I believe it was a daughter or son. It was their child.
Yeah.
It was either here or there. And the guy came up to the pilot house as if we were what we did for these. Knocked on the door. The guy was crying, like I was just crying. Worse than I was just crying. Because that was the first time in 6 years his daughter smiled. Because she's been in and out of hospitals with him. The mother passed away. And all he wanted to do was send flowers to my godmother, who owned the boat. She was the owner she owned the boat at the time. So all he wanted was her address to go give her a hug. And Those are the people that need to get recognized.
Absolutely.
Not guys like myself or my father.
Everybody does that day, man.
Or the guy driving the other boat, or the guy that did this.
It's just
we did shit, man.
Hey, it's just
we did shit. The people that missing their spouses or missing their mother or father or missing their kids, they're the ones that are letting me and you sit here right now.
That's right.
I don't need recognition. I don't. I never wanted it. I don't want it to this day. I'm doing this for the whole cause. I'm not doing this for anything for me. You know that. And same reason why you're doing it. You ain't doing it for you.
I want to do it because I want people to not forget about that day.
Yeah, it's that day. Exactly
because
what you said. It's that day.
Slowly leading towards that, unfortunately. I think maybe I might be sounding like an idiot right now.
No,
but
not
I just
at all.
want to let people know.
Because I talk about that with my wife because I hear the stuff that, my daughter's 16 and my son's 14.
It's slipping away.
And the shit they learn at school right now, half of it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
And yeah, history is history from stuff that we learned in school in history. But a lot has changed over the last 10 years. I'm not even going to go 20 years. Let's go 10.
A lot has changed. And
I'm not even getting it up to 9/11 by saying 10 years.
Yeah.
And none of that's talked about. That's all history.
I mean,
and
even every year, I always try to share as much information I can about it. And even though it might be just, we talk about it every year, but it's getting to the point now where I feel like I'm not saying everybody, but the younger generation is just letting it slide past.
And I don't think it's their fault.
It's not.
I don't. I mean, because the younger generation, kids in general, they only know what you teach them and what you tell them.
That's right. Yeah.
So if you don't tell them and teach them the importance of something, they don't know.
Yeah.
And again, it's no fault of their own. And like my son watches that boat lift video. If he don't watch it once a week, he don't watch it 100 times. And I swear. And it's not because his grandfather's in it.
No,
he's fascinated by what went on that day.
Uh-huh.
And every time he watches it, he asks questions about it.
Me too. And
he always catches something that he didn't catch last time on it.
Yeah.
Hey, Daddy, why was this like this? Oh, hey, what?
Is he going to be, is he working on the water?
Fuck, he is.
Yeah.
He better go get he wants to actually go in the Coast Guard, which I'm fine with. He won't be working. Right now, he works on a couple of boats here at night and this and that in the summertime. He ain't working on no
How old you say he's 17?
14.
14, okay.
17, I don't have 1 year left, man. I wish.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
But no, he wants to actually, he talks about it regularly with me and his mom, that he wants to go in the Coast Guard, and I'm all for that.
If I were to do it again, I would 100% go back and do the Coast Guard.
I had the opportunity to do it, but I fucked it up like a lot of things in life.
We've all done. Yeah, we've all been there.
I don't regret where I'm at today, though.
You can't make regrets because guess what? You just move forward.
I don't regret where I'm at today. Every mistake I made me that much better for the next mistake.
That's right. That's right. You learn from them.
Yeah.
No, man, that's awesome. I think he should definitely go for that, especially if he's in the industry.
He loves boats. Don't get me wrong.
And if he's asking you questions all the time about that video.
He asks my friend Anthony, is like his uncle.
Anthony's a good dude.
He's all right. Everybody's got one. He's mine. Anthony shows him stuff, and sometimes it's easier for somebody else other than Dad to show you something. You listen a little bit more.
That's how I was.
But my son asks a lot of questions, which is good. That shows you care and you want to be that much better at what you do.
Awesome, man.
And it's
shout out to you.
I'd almost be shocked if he didn't want to do something with boats.
Mm-hmm.
It's been just in the family line forever. So, I mean, I get it, but he ain't working on no fishing boats.
No, you've been there, done that.
It ain't a living.
No.
I thought it was.
and you're never trying to go back to doing any of that? Or?
Oh, no, I still run fishing boats and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I work, actually, I wanted to give a shout out. My friend Mike Dannon, he owns the Starstream Captain Lou Fleet in Freeport.
Cool.
I work for him when I'm home from my regular job. He has whale watching out there. He does regularly. We got all kinds of whales here.
And what's the name of the boat again?
It's the Captain Lou Fleet.
Okay.
He's got the Captain Lou, the Starstream, and the Atlantic Pearl.
Starstream and Atlantic Pearl.
They do offshore fishing. That's what I do. I like my offshore tuna fishing. We'll try to tag them in
this too.
Yeah, no, good guys. They do a lot of stuff too. They try to get involved. Like they do some volunteer stuff for vets and stuff like this when they can and stuff like that.
Was he around that day?
I don't know if they were part of it that tried to get up there. And they were turned around at that point. Like I said, I was younger at that time, so I didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
I wasn't on the radio talking with the boats like my dad was. I would imagine boats from as far as Fire Island, Oceanside tried to get up here. Like I said, the boats I know on the Long Island Sound, they definitely were there because they were already in the Sound.
Yeah.
They were able to get up the river easily. Like I said, I know that James Joseph, he's out of Huntington. He was definitely up there doing the same thing me and my dad.
Yeah. There's probably a lot more than we were even thinking.
100%.
Yeah.
So
don't want to say nobody wasn't there.
No. I know Jersey boats from Jersey.
Yeah.
They tried to get up there as well to help, and they couldn't. They would just cut off because of security reasons. At that point, they didn't want
I hate to. I'm not trying to get political, but we're so divided as a country right now, and it always. Why does it always have to take some kind of disaster like that to bring everybody?
Well,
And it's incredible how, I mean, for example, like all the captains just did what they needed to do, and
yeah,
I wish our country would do that right
yeah,
now. You know, but that's
yeah,
a whole nother story for a different day.
yeah.
But
Oh, I could. You want to get me wound up with that one?
but but yeah, man, I I I just get goosebumps every time I talk about this.
Yeah, I mean, they should be this. I mean, again, I'm not in school anymore, obviously, but I mean, I would hope to think that if not already, in the very near future, this is in textbooks and this is part of history class
I hope it is.
because it's history.
People,
I mean,
people,
thousands of people died. It was a
and
war. I mean,
thousands of people went and crossed this, to fight for us.
why shouldn't it be discussed
Yeah,
and talked about and talked to our children and let them know the right. I'm using the wrong words
no,
here, but you know what I'm saying? What really fucking happened that day?
yeah,
Not, oh, yeah, I seen a video. Not that the YouTube's videos ain't educational, but, oh, yeah, they two planes crashed into a building and a bunch of people died and some people saved people. No. They should know the whole background of what led up to that and what led up after that and what happened and like anything else, like World War I or World War II.
that's right.
We know facts on that and this and that, and it's talked about and it's in history books. This is, maybe I'm looking at it different because it's my era now.
No,
But I
well,
mean,
luckily we have people like you that are willing to come and tell the story, and I know it's tough, and I appreciate you doing all this because
it's a double-edged sword for me because, A, my dad isn't around anymore. And this was, like I said, one of the only really good memories I had with my dad my whole life. And it was definitely the last memory I had with my dad. And because of the fact of what it was.
Mhm.
I mean, forget me on a personal level, what it means to me. Just what it was as an American.
Well,
What it was that day, you know?
absolutely. And everybody listening right now is gonna look up to you. They're listening,
Yeah,
man. The
I
kids are
appreciate
listening.
it, but
No, I know,
I just
but
want everybody to know that no matter what happens in the world, don't have the hate.
yeah,
Put the hate aside when you need to put the hate aside.
hmm
Put your differences aside when the differences need to be put aside.
life's pretty fucking short.
Very short. I'm 41 now, and you know what? I remember this like it was yesterday, and it wasn't.
It's crazy.
You know,
That's
and
what everybody says. They said they
Yeah.
remember every second. Of
every
that
second
day.
of that day, from me walking down the steps that morning after my brother waking me up, to when I walked in my house 3.5 days later.
I was in first grade, and I remember getting picked up early from school. Was so confused what the hell was going on that day, and I was living in Pennsylvania at the time, and was pretty close to where the plane went down there.
Sure, right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, and that's when we all knew what was going on here, but now it got real
Well,
by us.
like
We're
you
like,
just said a little while ago during this, like, what if we didn't have the waterfront there
yeah,
with the boats? What do you do in Pennsylvania if that was a lot worse? If that plane made connection or
yeah, or if you
Capital,
had,
look at all that. There was no way to get those people out besides
yep,
run.
yeah,
You know,
or are there bullets going to be flying now on the ground? Who knows?
yeah, and it's I can't thank you enough for trying to reach out to find my dad. To do this, and you came across my brother's name because it's the same name, and my brother reached out to me. I mean, the way it all boiled down.
I went searching on Facebook, YouTube, everything, and I finally got a hold of him. He actually was following me before all this, so
Sure,
he knew
everybody's following you.
Yeah.
Well, that's why when he called me, he goes, "Oh, the guy qualified captain and this." I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "He's trying to get hold of you." I go, "What am I, that much of a fucking idiot on the water?" I go,
Did
"He's
I
trying
do
to get
something
yeah." I'm
dumb?
like, "What does he want a video of me?" But the other video I did send you too. Funny story. We have time?
Yo, we have to. We got nothing but time.
Fuck it. Let's kick back, relax. Let's get the party started here. Oh no. Guy, James.
Yeah.
I had my boat in Sheepshead Bay here, and in the front of the docks we have signs like with the name of the boat, the name of the captains and stuff like that. So my name was up there, Captain Michael Ardolino.
Yeah.
Guy comes out fishing one night, and he goes, "I have to ask you a question." He goes, "I think I already know the answer to it." So I'm like, "Oh, here we go." No, because people ask you the stupidest fucking things sometimes.
Yeah.
So he goes, "By any chance, are you related to a Vincent Ardolino?" I go, "Yeah, that was actually my dad." I go, "He passed away." I go, "Why?" Now in my head, I'm thinking, "Oh shit, my dad owes this guy money or something."
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, you don't know, He goes, guy gave me a hug. I don't know who this guy is. He gave me a hug. So I'm like, a little blown away, like, where's this going? What's going on here? And long story short, he was part of like the rescue that day too. I don't remember. I don't want to talk out of term. I don't remember exactly what it was. It's part of like the EMTs maybe or something along them lines there. And he linked up with my dad, same kind of way, trying to find him through that YouTube video.
Yeah.
And he had my dad at his synagogue. And my dad did a whole, you've seen the video.
I saw the video.
Did a whole video on it.
I'll share that too. That's a pretty good video.
And again, it's just a small world, the way people got brought into my life, not back into my life through 9/11, through my dad.
You probably made friends and
and again, the guy Adam, through this complete gentleman, gives up all his time and to do all this volunteer stuff to educate people and to support veterans and broken families that lost on this day. And then a guy like James, who's very much involved still with 9/11 stuff when he has time away from his job. Somebody like yourself, who you could be out videoing some jackass crashing into a bridge, but you're taking time away to be serious on an important day in this country. I'm adding a little humor in here just to try to break the monotony up a little bit. I'm doing that for myself.
And
I need to, because this is a touchy subject.
You do way better than me on this.
And, but you could be out doing other things right now. You're up here for a wedding and you took time away from your family stuff to do something like this. I mean, that's the importance of this. Not for anything else, just to keep it alive. Like you said, and that's the best way of really wording it, the way you worded it.
I really appreciate that. Keeping it alive, and also trying to, our main focus too, I mean, you're captain, you see crazy shit in the water all the time. Trying to prevent these deaths on the water from happening more in the future. There's a lot of stuff that goes on down south with a season year round, man, and it's nuts.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. You need a license to drive a car, right?
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Turn key and go, baby.
Go get a jet ski right there. Which one you want? You might not be able to walk and chew bubble gum, but you get on a jet ski.
And the crazy thing is you can buy, that's another problem they talk about, is these dealerships are just selling these big boats.
You got money? Here you go. Go have a good time.
Yeah. Is it bad here?
Manhattan's bad.
Yeah.
You got a lot of yahoos up there. But then there's guys like me. 917-331-2671. I'll teach you anything you need to know for a small nominal fee.
Also, if anybody listening now, they also delivers boats, correct? Up and down.
Yeah. On my off time, I do boat deliveries. I've gone to Florida. I've gone up to Massachusetts and up and down the coast. That's what me and my buddy Anthony do on our off time.
Awesome.
I try to keep busy because the way the world is, the economy. Again, we won't get into that now.
Yeah.
You never work enough.
No.
Especially with a family of 4. It's just...
I'm scared as shit because I never know where this is going. I'm trying to just...
Oh, it can't get much worse. It can get worse, but we hope not much worse.
I mean, I started this whole page as a joke. I told you this earlier. And so I'm always trying to be creative and do something different. So, keeping the people entertained is most important. But then at the same time, using that entertainment and being able to grab their attention to say, hey, wake up a little bit. Like kids that are watching.
Yeah.
See this? This is how you die.
Yeah. Well, it's like my son, him and his cousin. Well, his cousin's got like a little 10-foot skiff kind of thing.
Yeah.
14 years old. Again, his dad is my cousin. Captain. He ain't letting his son just go out there on a boat aimlessly.
Yeah.
He taught his son that.
Yeah.
So, am I that fond of my son going out on a skiff with his 14-year-old cousin? No. But you know what? I know my son's not stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I know his cousin's not stupid. Be safe.
It's not.
Put your life jackets on. It's a 10-foot boat. And... know your role.
It's the other people.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
And that's why I try explaining to them. It's not that I tell you these things because I don't trust you. It's the other people.
Mm-hmm.
But
sounds like you got a good kid.
I got 2 good kids.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you got a daughter, too.
Yeah, they're all right. I'll keep them. Yeah. But, I mean, this is awesome that you do stuff. I mean, this has really meant a lot to me. And I'm not tooting nobody's horn here. You took so much time out of your little vacation to do this. And that means the world to me that you care that much about what went on that day,
Being able to look at this right here and you even bringing this and you taking the time, and I know it's a touchy, easy, like not an easy conversation to have, but man, Mike, I appreciate this. I wanted to always do something like this for a long time now and talk to you guys.
Glad we got it, man.
And I'm open to do it again in the future with whether it's you or any friends that you have, anybody that's,
Listen,
we could catch up maybe in the next year and see what's going on.
Absolutely. You let me know. I'll come to you next time. I got to wait for a week.
Take a boat. I'm telling you, come down to Wilmington. I got a dock for you.
Get me some work here. Hello. Is this thing on here?
Listen and pay attention.
You need a boat delivered. I'm your guy.
But no, for everybody, seriously though, this whole episode goes out to everybody that passed away that day, and everybody that fought for our country the
100%.
following years.
All jokes aside, I mean, that's what it's about. The unfortunate victims of that day, and the ones that went to fight for us that didn't return back home.
The ones that are still suffering to this day.
Yes.
So
yes, that's what it's all about.
But hey,
never forget, like they say.
Never forget, man.
Thank you so much. Yes, pleasure. And I really appreciate you taking the time out to do something like this. It means a lot to me. And I know my dad's probably looking now too happy that we were able to do this.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.